So you said December 2021 to June 2022, you guys really tried to piece it together yourself. Um, and you mentioned that included like you joining Marriage Helper for 3 days, the 3-day seminar that they do in
We
April
did.
2022.
Mhm. Yeah, we
What
went.
else did you guys try? Yeah. What else did you guys try besides Marriage Helper? What was your idea of trying to piece it together yourselves?
So the first thing we did was went back to our marital therapist that we had been seeing for years, who knew us very well, and she's very, very good. Um, but the same things would happen. I would bring home the issues from marital therapy and like throw them back on her at home.
Mm.
So that didn't work. Um, my son was a senior in high school. We were trying to get to his graduation in June before we told the kids. So we were still sleeping in the same room. We weren't officially separated. Um, I was trying to, I used a lot of trying to convince her. Then one day I found Marriage Helper and I started doing some of their stuff on my own. And I tried to convince her to go to their 3-day workshop. I thought that that could help us.
Mm.
And I will say it was an interesting experience. I think there's some value I gained out of it and that she gained out of it, but it's a very passive program. It's illuminating for somebody who's in the dark like I was, that here are all the things that could have potentially gone wrong. And I was pretty emotionally illiterate. And uh, you know, so it opened my eyes to holy shit, I missed all this stuff. Um, but at the same time, it's like, hey, go work on your pies and hopefully she comes around someday. And that, I don't know, that how does that fix your even your friendship? It doesn't. So um it was there was some value, but that was it. And after we came back from that, she's like, yeah, no, still doesn't work for me. And we waited until my son's graduation, high school graduation, and then we literally told the kids the day after, and I moved out of our bedroom and we're
Mm.
separated in the same house.
Yeah. And feel free to not answer this if you don't want to answer, because I don't want to make this
Sure.
about like bashing Marriage Helper or whatever it is. But obviously we have a lot of clients who have joined that program as well, either the seminar or the program itself. So it's almost like the philosophy of if you build it, they will come kind of philosophy.
Yeah.
But there's a problem with that. There's two problems with that. Their idea of what building it means is not really that comprehensive, right? So they tell you, for example, like build your pies, and they tell you maybe a bit of like why it's crucial. But they don't tell you how. They don't tell you what a high standard of building pies look like. Um, what was your experience with that? With them teaching you about pies?
So
And yeah.
I think like the easiest thing. Oh, pies. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm overweight. I'm gonna go start hitting the gym and lose weight, right? And I may be single now too, so I'm gonna go get myself a shake. That one's easy, right? But like the E is really hard. Like emotionally, like how do you work on your emotions? How do you work on the spiritual is easy. Okay, you start going to temple, you start going to church, whatever it is. But how do you work on your emotions
And the
if
spiritual
you
side of
don't
things. Yeah.
yeah, if you don't really know how to work on that. So again, I thought for somebody as emotionally illiterate as me, that the 3 days was somewhat illuminating. Um, in that you meet a lot of other, like you say in the program, no situation's unique. We met a lot of people there that were in long-term marriages that were blown up, but it didn't send you home with, okay, here's how now. Here's the prescription for working on myself and working on things. It didn't do that.
Mm. And I think also like the going back to the if you build it, they will come. It's almost like, because in the program, not only do we go very deep into telling you how to connect with yourself emotionally and fix yourself emotionally, internally, but also how to understand, have compassion, read other people's emotions, how to make other people feel understood, how to build that emotional safety, the emotional connectedness, etc. But we also, in doing that, we're also telling you, okay, once you build your product here, here's also how you market yourself. here's how you start those conversations. Here's how you begin conversations. Here's how you campaign. In a way, it's not just like build it and then, okay, lemonade stand up. Customers any day now. It's not like that at all. It's like, let me teach you how to
Yeah.
go in.
I think what I saw from the program when I talked to, after I did the master class and I talked to Jason was, you know, the hard look I had taken at myself at that point was, it isn't just my marriage that's messed up. My relationship with my kids is not where I want it to be. And like some things at work weren't going great. Like, and I finally, through a conversation with Jason, wow, maybe I'm the problem. And maybe I'm the one who needs fixing. And that's what drew me to the program was, whether my marriage works out or not, I need some fixing. And I saw some things in the masterclass and things I had heard about the program that led me to believe, there's going to be value for me in this regardless how things turn out. And that's what was attractive to me about the program.
When you first joined the program, I know your therapist was skeptical.
Very skeptical.
What did he say to you, or what did she say to you about the program? What was the source of that skepticism, you think?
So the skepticism was from my individual therapist that I was seeing.
Oh, okay.
Not a marital therapist. And the skepticism was when I told him about some of the concepts from the masterclass, he's like, what is this guy's qualifications? And I'm like, well, let me tell you about that. He's a young guy. Yeah. He's like, what college did he go? I said, I don't even know. I don't really care. So, I think sometimes people at your age, they look at your background and, he's like, I don't know how this could work. But then I started showing him more of the portal and the concepts and everything. And he started seeing, even though I failed the first 8 months through the program, he noticed changes in me and people around me did. They started seeing me change, even though I wasn't doing it the correct way. I was changing, just not as drastically as I needed to. And he started seeing positive things in me and was saying, hey, show me more about this program. So I would tell him, hey, here's what I'm doing. But my initial skepticism was, was just more around, what are your qualifications? How many people have been through this, et cetera? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I have learned to live with that for the rest of my life. I'm just gonna say, like, I'm probably gonna get that because I will never waste my time getting some degree or qualifications, because I think, Robert, that will actually put me backwards rather than forwards. And so what I always say to people is like, if your idea of qualifications is degrees, then yeah, I'm not your guy. But if your idea of qualifications is results and proof of those results through interviews like this, then I'm your guy. Depends on what your idea of qualifications are, kind of thing. So you had a lot of doubts about the program when you first joined. So I was too young. And you said also you thought the people were paid actors. Like, what? Tell me more about that train of thinking.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, maybe I had a couple drinks one day, but I'm in there and I'm looking and I'm like, I was looking at people's in our group, like some people I was friends with in there, looking at their profiles, and I'm like, they're all younger than me. So I'm over 50. So there's a lot of members that are younger than me, or people that were in marriages that are 5 years and where they had girlfriends, they weren't even married. And I'm like, maybe I picked the wrong program. I don't know how many, but then I'd be like, wait a minute, here's 10 other guys who have been married 20 years just like me, right? Like, what am I thinking? But I don't know. It was just a weird moment I had, like thinking, what if this guy had just hired a bunch of actors to do auto suggestions and paid them all, and he's making all this money, and like
That
it's
would
all
be
a bunch
some
of
scheme.
bullshit.
Yeah.
It was. I clearly I wasn't having a good day with the program.
That would be some scheme, man. That's
Yeah.
hard to pull off.
Yeah.
But like, which is why, like, in these interviews, I have stopped some interviews before where I was like, you're looking at your screen. I want you to stop looking at your screen. I want you to like, I don't want people to have any reason to think this is scripted or in any way, right? It's like,
You know,
yeah. So what were the other doubts you were having about the program? Besides like the qualifications, obviously, the fact that I'm too young, the fact that you thought, hey, maybe these are all paid actors. You said another thing was like there was a lot of tough love that we were giving.
oh, geez.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
how did that translate to doubt?
So I sometimes felt like, you know, people would get called out in the Facebook group, like maybe like, how's that helping? Right? Like this person needs to be hugged, not slapped across the face, right? This person needs a damn hug. Some people come in this program in impossible situations, right? Their wives or husbands have left them, they're alone with the kids, they're alone with the dogs. I've seen people whose significant other moved to another country. So people can come in pretty desperate. And you know, and then they post stuff the wrong way on their third or fourth post and they're getting smacked. Like you look at that and go, is that what they really need? Right. But they're not just, they're not smacked down by either members or you or some of the other coaches in a way that um is meant to hurt them. It's used to make them learn, right? And you don't realize that the first time or two. Yeah, I would tell people you have to check your ego in the door at this program. Whether you're a CEO, a doctor, a nurse, it doesn't matter. Like what you do in life, we're all the same in the program, and our situations are all essentially the same. And you just have to do the work. And sometimes I felt bad for myself joining the program. People feel bad coming into the program. And you feel like, oh, wow, they need a hug and he's slapping them down. Why is he doing that? But then once you're in the program, like a couple of weeks, you start to realize why.
And just for people to understand why, and this is something that I struggled with a lot because obviously I don't enjoy giving people tough love. I don't enjoy slapping people around. It actually takes a lot of emotions out of me. It takes a lot of emotional energy, spiritual energy, mental energy, everything, right? And it does take me a while to shake it off after a while. But, I tried the nice approach. I tried the really mean approach. And I tried this balanced approach now of like giving balanced tough love in a way. And the reason why I think tough love is necessary is that, people come into this program because their partner has pretty much given up on them. And you ask the question, like, why did their partners give up on them? Because maybe your partner's been trying to tell you what you need to do for a long time. They've tried to tell you in a nice way, doesn't work. They try to tell you in a mean way, doesn't work. They try to tell you in a stoic, logical way, doesn't work. And them seeing like none of these methods work is what gets them to say, fuck it, forget it, right? So
Yeah.
you come to this program and you say like, well, what I need is a hug. Well, people tried that already
Right.
and it doesn't work. So we need some more drastic measures to wake you up, to make you listen and go go realize where you actually are, kind of thing, right? And the second thing also is the standards again, right? I think when you first join the program, you think, okay, bettering yourself is level 5, but really we're talking about level 150. And so when we see that people are operating at a low level, we just think in our heads like, you can do better. Why aren't you doing better? You're smart, you're capable, you have accomplished a lot. Why are you choosing to suck? So it's almost like when we stop giving you tough love, that's when we've given up on you. And I have given up on some people. There's some posts that I see that I'm like, this guy, forget it. Like, this guy's not going anywhere. I've tried, right? So if you're getting tough love, it means that people believe in you. And when you stop, getting tough love, that's when people have given up on you. That's not a good thing, you know?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's great is the community helps each other, and like other community members will call you out on, hey, you're doing this, you're asking, stupid questions. This is in the program, this is in the mental map. But I think the initially the tough love can be jarring to a new member. They go, whoa, this I didn't realize I got myself into this. So
Yeah. But our solution to that is not to like stop giving tough love, but I'm gonna put that part about receiving tough love earlier in the program too, to be like, hey, you're gonna get tough love. Just know that. But if you're getting it, here's how you see it. Here's how you think about it. Okay. Change the way you think about it because we love you here. Last thing about kind of your experience in the program is like, one of the questions we get a lot, Robert, is, and I just saw one comment today. Someone saying like, honestly, the videos are so deep. The YouTube videos are so deep that you can just probably pick and choose what you want to learn from the videos and probably get the results you want from it. Having been someone who actually experienced the program and also YouTube, what would you say personally for you is the massive difference between program and YouTube?
Oh, they're not even close. They're not even, and the Looms, like the videos within the program that we get outside of just the course material that you've created, which is super deep, much deeper than what's on YouTube. The Facebook group that only members that are in the group, that are in the program have access to. And the Loom library, which is the coaching calls, other resources that we have, other recordings and things that there's a tremendous amount of depth to that goes beyond like anything I thought about before I came into it. And it's there's a lot of material.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to learn from.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand, right? It's like, there's a lot of stuff that I can never talk about on YouTube, not because I am an asshole who wants to like gatekeep and just not share the things, but it's really because there's so much prerequisite knowledge that needs to be known before you learn that particular thing, right? So, for example, you could take a simple concept like leaning into resistance. In order for you to lean into resistance properly, you would need to know so many concepts. You would need to know paradox of change. You would need to know thriving versus surviving. You would need to know non-victim mindset. You would need to know untethering. You would need to know empathetic mindset. You would need to know SOC. You would need to know, I mean, there's so many skills, including all the frameworks, all the different nuances behind that. And, it's almost like if I decide to teach those things in the YouTube videos, people are going to misuse that strategy and tactics so much. Right. And I'm going to create so much damage in so many relationships from people misusing it. I cannot live with myself if I like launch a video like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other thing too is there's a very vast distance between conceptual understanding and experiential understanding, I think. It's almost like, imagine you watch a couple of YouTube videos around playing basketball or dancing. You can't play at a world-class level like that, right? Sure, you can become better, but you can't be world-class. To be world-class, you need to actually have someone pinpoint to you antithesis, your blind spots of your performance, stuff that you cannot ever see yourself, like with your shooting form, whatever it is. Like, you need to go outside the realm of what you think you know. And that's, I think, a massive part of what the program gives, is that the program gives you the opportunity to actually like show your work, have the coaches who have advanced to very high levels give you critiques, feedback, look at your blind spots. Other members can do that. And it's just like, it makes you a performer. It makes you live it, breathe it. It's a lifestyle. right? Rather than something you conceptually understand. And that's
Yeah.
a very vast distance. Like you said, right? You can get your partner to say you've changed pretty quickly. But for your partner to believe and live and feel those changes, that's a whole nother level kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think too, you know, the more you talk in the program, the more jammed you are to one side, the harder it is to reprogram yourself and unwind these things. I was a guy who was like super
Yeah.
jammed to one
Yeah.
side.